Can you all remember the brass one? Two schools of thought, because I have come across brass ones before, and they were meant for like working where you would have a high explosives and all that sort of stuff. And I actually made a mistake with this one when I put it in the ultrasonic tank. You can't say what I did, but this is the top of the box. Them two catches, original catches, was broken. I've replaced them with this catch because that's all the catch I had. I've replaced the two hinges again because that's all I had to replace it with. So are we ready for the reveal? Now, John was excited when he said it. So there you go. It's all nice and shiny and blingy. White foam because I didn't have any black foam. All this is here, right? We get like a packing sponge at work. It's like a high density sponge, and I've just cut it and shaped it. And this on the top is an old black t-shirt with that spray on adhesive, and I've just put it on. With being a cotton t-shirt, you can push it in. Now, this micrometer came with its own standard, which lives in there. Now, you might think, or I might think, or whatever, that standard is right. Well, I forget my standard out. This is me 25mm. I hope you can see how blingy it is. It's all nice and shiny. Paint's not flaking off. No rusty spots. Put my standard in. Now again, yes, there's people going to be out there, oh, you've warmed it up, it's this, that and t'other. Well, if you were doing the job properly, you would have the micrometer in a mic stand, and you can get a proper stand which holds the standard. So basically, you move the standard in its holder in and out the jaws and all this sort of stuff. But I don't know if you can say that, that's on 0. 0, 0. Do you agree, John?
Perfect.
Right, that's 25. Now, this is supposed to be 25. I mean, I know it doesn't say it so on the thing, but screw that out. There's the 0 this side. It's nowhere near where I've lined it up. So if you're calibrating this micrometer on that standard, you're going to be a mile out. So that standard, even for all it's in this box, once chucking away, because you don't know if somebody's ground that. I haven't touched it. It might have been rusty at some point and somebody's decided to clean it and polish the ends and do whatever. So now it's actually too small. But because it came with it, it's in the box. The clamp works, the ratchet works. That's the most important thing. Yes, there's all guys at work can feel. They'll hold the micrometer and they'll go on the pin punch and whatever, and they'll go, yeah. But I was always told to use the ratchet, because that's what it's for. So there's our transformation in micrometers. Again, it's back in its original case. Yes, I've changed the felt and all, because that was all natty and it's got rubber and that in it. But it'll live 100 now. Now it is a proper explosive one. It's not a cheap and nasty, because what happened was, I'll put it back together, you can't see, but in here and in this end, because I was interested why this is screwed in. And it's screwed in for a reason, because inside there, you cannot see it, I'm not going to tack the bits because it was a pain to put back in. There's actually a Teflon thread, like a plastic thread, a nylon thread, in there and in there. Because if you put a multimeter, like on a buzz, between there and there, there's no continuity. Sorry, not between there and there, but between this and the brass body, there's no continuity because it's a plastic insulator in there.
Yeah, for possibly static or?
For static. So it is for explosives.
So that will be an expensive maintenance, dear.
In its day. in its day that would have been a very expensive mic, but I don't know what's happened to that standard.
Should I weld it up and reround?
No, you might as well just buy a new one of them.
Okay.
But as I say, if I had my multimeter with this, you'd put one live on there, negative on there, you'd get a buzz. You wouldn't get a buzz. So this is John's Mitutoyo dial indicator vernier. They're a brilliant bit of kit. It's Mitutoyo. I'm not bothered about the make. It could be any make, but as they are, they're a good bit of kit. But the problem is with these in the workshop environment, they're not very nice, because what happens is, get the box open, I'll get the box out of there. It's inch. What happens is there's a rack in here, say the rack, and what happens is swarf, muck, dirt gets into that rack, and on the little pinion what gets on the back, as you can see, it's jamming at places, not going all the way down, because there'll be swarf, God knows what in there. And what tends to happen, I've got a shed full of these, is they arrive at them, they get it, and oh, it's sticking, and what it does, the little pinion in the back, you just rive the teeth off it. And again, I've tried to get parts for them, no go. So we're going to pull this one apart and see how far we go. I've got my screwdrivers on hand now. Anything what comes off, take off. Flips. Again, all this will go into my ultrasonic tank to get cleaned off, to be sorted out. But they're very good. They are very good, but in a metal workshop, maybe it's alright in a drawing office, but not in a metal workshop, because the swarf gets absolutely everywhere, and you don't think it's getting everywhere, but it does. Now what you'll find with these little screws, there's one's flat, sometimes, not always mind, and one should have a little pin on, like that. Well, my camera might not pick it up, and what it is, inside here, there's a brass, sometimes copper, shoe as I call it, the brake, to adjust the tension on this bit, and the pin, because the bit what goes underneath there, it's got a hole in, and it just keeps it in place.
Got your gib strip.
Ah, your gib strip. Your gibby. Well, the reason I'm taking the rack out is because I know it's got full of crap, and I don't want to slide it up down too much, and them screws are small, but I'll say them alright without the magnifier. That's that bit down. There's the gibby strip. It's got a notch in there, and that notch lines up with that little pin in there. Again, all this will go into the ultrasonic tank, and I don't know if John's camera can zoom in onto all that muck what's on there.
Yeah, I can see it.
Right? That just jams, gums up, does all sorts of damage. Now these come apart the same way as the mini DTI, the finger DTIs. You've got to take that top off. And you need a, I'll tell you what I'll use. I can use these fellas what I've been given. I know they're meant for levering hands off, but a lever's a lever, as my dad would say. Oh, just look underneath. It is lifting it. Sorry from on camera. But exactly the same as them little dainty eyes and finger ones. That comes off. It's only a push fit. Right, can you get us 2 lolly sticks out me box, John? Oh, you've got a lolly stick. Break 2 bits of. Never ever rest on this, on the dial itself. Always put something on, cardboard, plastic, something fairly substantial and something. I don't know. It's the first time I've used these. Look, baptism by fire. There we go. There's the hand off. There's the dial off. Not a great deal inside there, you would say. There's the little pinion down behind that little copper. So we'll get that out the way there with 2 little screws.
Would you say this was a real one, Bob? Is it a copy or?
No, it's a proper one.
It was bought as a real one.
Yeah, it's a proper one. Usually, proper ones, you tell them straight away, not proper ones, snide ones, because they won't bother with half the finesse. They wouldn't have used a piece of copper like what the Toyo would have used. They would have just used a bit of steel, spring steel. And you can see that lump of muck what's just fallen out, dust, fluff. And there's the little pinion there. See all the crap and that's what's on it? Now I won't bother taking it any further down than that, because that's in place, it's in situ. But I'll have to take them 2 little screws off, take them 2 little screws off, and dunk all that in the ultrasonic tank and clean it. So next time you'll see this, which will be next time, this will be all nice and clean, and we'll put it back together. But that's why you don't force them. Little peg. If you can imagine how fine them teeth are in there, right? All it needs is just 1 little bit of too hot, and you'll just take a tooth off, and that's it. It's goodbye, Vienna. Because you can get a touch with what to you, and they'll say no, you can't sell you one of them. You're not one of our service agents. So when it goes back together, we'll show you how to put it back together. So there we are. Good all. It's they're pretty simple in how they work. As I say, that you've got a rack. There's no springs involved and such. There is a spring, that copper's a spring, and that keeps that little pinion shoved against the rack, and that's all it works it. Now, as I say, in a metal workshop, they might be alright for the first week or 2, but no, because it just. And then people start, oh, it needs washing out with this, that and t'other, and all you're doing is just washing the muck further and further in. So, there we go. Another thing I want to touch on, it is going to be another video. I get asked, what's the best DTI to buy? Well, I've said it before, it's what you can ever afford. There's no point in spending £100 on a DTI. You got to chop the back off, stick a magnet on, and use it on your lathe, like John's got one on his lathe. Now, I don't know what make the one is on his lathe, but it's like the AK-47. It's been in the white water. It's had cutting oil on it. It's had everything, yeah, and it still works. It's unbranded. There's no brand name on it, and I've never had it apart. And it's got 2 magnets on it, and some of that disagree, but you can see it's all covered in oil. But all the holes what it's supposed to have on are covered, so there's not the real oil will get in, water will get into it, but it's like them Kennedy ones. I've had the back off. I haven't done anything with it, but it's such a simple movement. There's nothing to go wrong on it.